question asks, which of the following reactions would not be classified as an oxidation? So this is kind of a hard question because it's got several different reactions that we have to think about. The reactions aren't really shown to us like with a figure, so we have to kind of visualize the figure ourselves, which can be hard. So I always recommend drawing it all out when you're kind of trying to think through a question like this. All right, so first off, what is an oxidation? So in organic chemistry, that's typically going from a fewer number of carbon to electronegative atom bonds to a greater number of carbon to electronegative atom bonds. Okay, so let's take a look at option A. Option A says reaction of a primary alcohol with essentially chromic acid. Okay, so we have to kind of think through what is the product of this reaction. The product of this reaction is a carboxylic acid. So we went from 1 carbon to oxygen bond to 3 carbon to oxygen bonds. So this is a reaction that I would classify as an oxidation. Okay, let's take a look at B. B, we have reaction of LAH with an aldehyde, followed by water. So LAH, for our purposes, we kind of talked about it as being like having an H minus. So H minus is going to act kind of like as our nucleophile in this instance. And what that's going to do is it's going to add a hydrogen atom to the carbonyl carbon. So in this case, we go from 2 carbon to oxygen bonds to 1 carbon to oxygen bond. So this is an example of a reduction, so not an oxidation. Okay, so I'm going to put a little check right there next to B, not an oxidation. That's what we're looking for. Okay, choice C says the Baeyer-Villiger reaction with a ketone. So you kind of have to know what is the Baeyer-Villiger reaction. Okay, in that case, we added a peroxy acid and we made an ester. Okay, so we go from 2 C to O bonds to 3 C to O bonds. So this is an example of an oxidation because we increase the number of C to O bonds. Okay, lastly, let's take a look at our option D. Option D says ozonolysis of an alkyne followed by water. So say we have an alkyne and we go ozonolysis followed by H2O. The key thing to remember here is that we're essentially kind of cleaving that triple bond and making carboxylic acids. So in this case, we would have kind of this product situation where we have no C to O bonds to 3 C to O bonds. So this also is an oxidation reaction. All right, so of all 4 choices, only B is a reduction. Okay, but this is again like a very tricky question because you have to think through each reaction. You have to know what like certain reagents do. You have to know what certain reactions are. And it really, really helps in an instance like this to kind of visualize it by drawing things out like I did here and really thinking every single step through. So final answer, B, only the reaction of LAH with an aldehyde followed by addition of water is a reduction, therefore not an oxidation.